welcome to our channel. We are back with Glacian.
Hey guys.
And this time we have some standard profiles for you. We start with Pale MooOooooons, and then we also do some Dimensional Police and other stuff. We could also do Tachikaze standard. We have a lot of different decks for you guys. We have also some budget decks, but we will make a poll on Facebook if you guys want to see that, because we have done it before and we didn't get a lot of reaction on it. So for now, we are with one of the most interesting XL decks at the moment.
Ta-da! For those who don't know, this is the glorious and beautiful Pale Moon. Now let's start with saying that this is my favorite arc so far since the reboot. The cards look beautiful. Look at the SVR. It's every time I see it, it just makes me happy. I'm not one that actually has a lot of attachment to things like high rarities, but God, this card's beautiful.
Yeah, when we would like to give, let's say, scores for this deck, like the art, I would say 9 or 9.5 out of 10. The playstyle is so satisfying to play, and the deck is a bitch. It punishes you back if you play it badly, and it gives you a lot of advantage if you play it well.
If you make one mistake, you can quit. There's been times where I was just starting to play, and I made my whole field like, and I'll attack with my Vanguard, which is Beast Tamer. I'll use her skip. Oh wait, I don't have any more cards in my hand. Things like that. Just, there's so much costs hidden everywhere that you have to pay money. Not just counterblast, not just units in your hand, but also units in the field and your amount of soul and what grace you have in your soul. It's so easy to mess up.
Do you guys know that one time that we had a lot of videos, like when you see a video and then at the end of the video everything becomes black and white, and like the moment that you fucked up, and you get a lot of deja vu feelings with this deck when you call something in the early game, and let's say you play against Kagero and they get rid of it, like Midnight Binding or Purple Trapezius, and you would be like, I fucked up on my grade 2 turn already, and you're like on your grade 3 turn and you think, I need that combo pieces.
So this deck, it's fun to play, but you have to stick with it. Do not give up after your first, second, 10th game, because it's gonna take a while.
So let's first go through your choices,
right?
And then after that also explain some of the new cards, because it is a new deck and some people will think, okay, I don't really know all of the combo pieces. So
okay, let's start off with the VR, which we run 4 times. Golden Beast Tamer is your main Vanguard, your main Rhine target. It gives you an Axle Circle. It has 2 amazing skills. And again, we'll get back to that later. Second up, we have the triple rare Nightmare Doll Alice, who makes a comeback from the old days as well. She is a decent Vanguard and a really good rare guard, and that's why you run her at 3, because it's preference. And then we have the Comical Chimera, which is the common rare guard, common grade 3, and he is a, let's be honest, horrible Vanguard, but an amazing rare guard and a combo extender. Okay, then we go to the grade 2 lineup, which is 4-3-3-1. Again, weird numbers. 4-3-2. Then we have 4-3-3-1. It's unusual numbers in Vanguard, but we're playing an unusual Vanguard deck. Jumping Jill is your main grade 2. She helps you to make combos, calls something out of the soul with her when she comes out, and shoves something back in. So she's your main act, so to speak, using circus terms. Then we have another field cleaner, Amarav Beast Tamer, and she's a field cleaner. She sends something back in the soul for power. We have Nitro Juggler, which is our soul charger and deck filter unit. And then finally we have a Dancing Knife Dancer, which we run 1 of because his skill can only proc like once per turn. So you're running more of him. Sure, you have more of him, you see more of him, but you don't really need to. He's only there so you can make your plays a bit earlier, or more plays, depending on the situation. He doesn't extend your combos. Next we have Purple Trapezius, which is, together with Jumping Jill, one of your most important units. She calls out new units, whatever grade she is. She's one of the few cards that's not grade restricted in what she calls where. If you look at all the others, Alice, Jill, Midnight Bunny, they all have a restriction to what they call where. But Purple Trapezes doesn't, and that's why she's so good. We have Midnight Bunny also at 4. Midnight Bunny is your other main grade one. She gives a soul charge and she boosts, gives you she can extend the combos, and yeah, interesting units. Then those are your combo pieces, and here are your setup pieces. And these two provide you with soul charges. They both do it in a different way, but this is your favorite right target, and this is something you want these in the back row as soon as possible. You run 2 of her and 3 of her, and that's it. So yeah, we have pretty odd numbers across the board. I think the grade 1 lineup is the least odd.
Yeah, I think that some people would like to play her at 4. So they play like 4-4-4. I could understand that. 12 grade 2s work good. Take out, so you have one more card to play. So let's say that you play it like this. We have 4 copies of her. And you have one more card. It could be an extra grade 3, as in your combo pieces. Could be an extra grade 2, as in your combo pieces. Another beat stick. Or just for the soul. I've seen people play him at 4 as well. Just because you want the soul in the early game. But at the same time, with the testing that Glacian did, sometimes he fucks you up. Or he punishes you, let's say. Because let's say that you use his skill and you get 2 cards that you really want.
You see 2 Golden Beast Tamers with his skill, and you don't have any in your hand, you're gonna cry. You're gonna cry a lot.
Yep.
It's just makes you really upset.
And you don't really need him. It's not really required. He is nice to have that extra soul, but it's not really needed. At the same time, if you get triggers, then you have less triggers in the deck. You put them away. You will not see them again.
So it's like
the only card that I think that you could run in here as an extra grade 2 is her, because you don't really want to play 3 copies of him, that you have to ride him in some situations. In premium, it's alright to have less grade 3s because you don't really want to ride first to grade 3, but in standard, you get so much advantage out of going first, and you don't want to miss that chance by not having the right grade 3 in your hand. By having him in your hands, you can't even G-assist. You just don't want to ride him. At least the Alice is a good Vanguard, gives you a +1, and it gives you the circle. Because the circle in this deck is good because it has the power on it. So your rare guards will hit above that 1 trigger that your opponent gets.
The good thing about this deck and its circles is that because most of your units are taken away from the circle and then place a new one on it, so that 1 circle gets a lot of use, like a lot of mileage. Something new will be some. That's why they put a restriction on Jill for putting a unit in the front row. She has to put something in the back row, which is really smart, because otherwise, Jill would just completely wreck everything.
Yeah. The deck is, as we said before, very interesting as in its playstyle, and also it's something that you have to experience for yourself.
Yes.
At the start, if you're making this deck or you're testing it online, try not to watch some videos. Try just to put something together, play with an easy build. This is an okay build to start with. It's not really very complicated, let's say. You have the option to use multiple grade 1s, to use multiple cards, and you don't really get that much bonus because you have like 7 right targets, which is good. So in this situation, you don't really get punished a lot. I mean, if you play the 3-3-3, then you could get punished because you don't get the right target to your hand. And just play the deck and go with it and try to make your own combos. And with time,
one of the nicest things about this deck is that all your grade 2s are right targets.
Yep.
Well, this one rather not, like the least, but if you're really that, he's not horrible. He's not horrible. You want her in the soul as fast as possible because her skill triggers when she comes out of the soul. This one has a rearguard Vanguard skill and you can just call it out of the soul later. And this one has a rearguard Vanguard skill. So you have great right target options.
Mostly this is your best right target.
Yeah.
But also sometimes you want to ride her if you have her in your hand or anything that you want to keep in your soul. So you can ride her, call some stuff, rush with it, and then still put it into your soul. They are safe in your soul. And they are only safe in your soul. On the field, your opponent could get rid of them. In the drop zone, you will never get them back. In your hand, of course, they are safe, but sometimes you're forced to guard with them. So you would rather just put them into your soul and they're safe there. Also, you can call them from your soul. There is no other easy way to put stuff into your soul, except with her and his skill, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, this one puts something back in the soul, this one puts something back in the soul, and this one puts something back in the soul.
Yeah, if she is recalled.
This one puts herself back in the soul, and this one puts himself back in the soul.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, and she puts herself back in the soul.
Yeah, of course, but it's more of choosing other records to go into the soul. That's why you want to play, let's say, these at 5 or 6. So let's say if you play 1 copy of him, try to play 4 copies of her. Try to keep that number in there. It makes the combo easier.
Exactly. You might even swap one of him out for another one of her, depending on playstyle. Or, like D-Boy said before, switch one of these out for one of these. Or...
The thing is, in Standard, we see a lot of decks that play the 12 grade 1. Because you have like 2 grade 1s in almost each deck that you want to play at 4. 4-4, that's 8. And then you have like the 5 or 4 extra grade ones that you could put in there. You also don't have stride followers, so you don't have to. And the best thing that Bushi did, in my opinion, as a Spark player, they draw PGs. Especially if you play a deck that you already runs draws, then it's good.
Which brings us, of course, to the next part of the deck, the triggers, because there's some of you looking at it and have been maybe getting a bit aggravated about. There's something weird with this trigger lineup. It's 6-6-4. We have 6 crits, 6 front triggers, and 4 draws. I am a firm believer that heals and Exile Cleanse do not really mix that well. Heals have to be in a deck is something that's really from the G era, and I think this may come from experience with other card games. Sometimes it's best to just let go of what you have to, like staples. The staples become less of a thing when metas shift. If you look at Yu-Gi-Oh!, there was a time where you had to have Pot of Greed in your deck, you had to have Graceful Charity in your deck, and you had to have Mirror Force in your deck. Well, Pot of Greed and Graceful Charity, of course, get banned, but Mirror Force isn't like you don't have to have a Mirror Force in your deck anymore. And there was a time where you had to.
So if you wanted to explain it in Vanguard terms, you look at the format as it is now. The format in, let's say, in Premium is different than in Standard. But in Standard, let's talk about Standard.
Yes.
In Premium, it also becomes interesting because you don't want to heal if you write first. So the heal gives you the G-Guard that gives you a strong first stride.
Right.
When it comes to Standard, in decks that don't really go to late game, this is a deck that is not designed to go to late game. You sometimes want it to, you want to push it to, it is not.
No,
the same with Nova Grapplers. It's not made to. Tachikaze in Exile Clan is different. Tachikaze makes as much pluses as Oracle Think Tank almost, and the deck could be defensive.
Tachikaze actually doesn't benefit from its VR until the second or third turn the VR is actually there, because it needs to build up a lot of equipment so that its VR can do its horrible, powerful ability. This one's different. The requirements are very low, having 5 units in the field for the continuous skill. She's number 1, and worst case scenario, you have to attack with her first to get number 2 and 3, so all you have to do is already have 2 units in the field. That's not hard, but the further the game goes, the more your resources will be depleted. People will target your rare guards, you have no draw power, and you do need to sacrifice your hand for skills and calling units. And you can't. Your counter charge is limited, and you're gonna... This one's the only reason that you can go to like a third turn on like a Vanguard, because he can give you that counter charge. He's like your late game insurance. But that's about it. That's all he does, and you're gonna struggle the longer the game lasts, and your opponent will try to stall you out.
Yeah. We also talked about the heals before. We said that if you are at 5 damage, then your opponent get only 1 chance to heal. And that's a good thing in this deck, because you don't want to go against more than one heal a turn. Like miracle heal happens sometimes, but it would not happen twice. But if you are at 3 damage, that would mean you only have 3 counterblasts to work with, and your opponent will get a lot of chances to be able to heal, like on his 4th and 5th and the miracle heal. So 3 chances to heal. And in that situation, this deck does not generate that much power that it could go above that.
No.
Also, this deck benefits from having a lot of counterblasts to work with. And it doesn't matter if your opponent's at 2 damage and you have a lot of counterblasts to work with. That means that your opponent doesn't have that much cards in their hand, and they would have to take up some damage. And if they don't get triggers, they're fucked. If they get 1 or 2 triggers, it is still okay. You can still hit above that. And they have to discard their combo pieces anyway, so they don't have a strong turn afterwards. So
I'm a firm believer when it comes to Exo that you're a very aggressive clan. Exo clans are aggressive. They call early fields and they rush. They go for it. So most of the time, your opponent either sacrifices their hand or they will have more damage than you. So during grade 1, grade 2, and usually the first grade 3, your opponent will have more damage than you. That's should be the case. Then you let them do all the damage to you. You let them push you to the 5 damage. You stay there, and that's when you go to the final turn. And you do not want to get healed up on. You don't want to heal yourself. You don't want to get out of that comfy 5 damage. Because then your opponent can heal as well. And if they heal, they can get more defensive triggers. And if they get more defensive triggers, your combo will fall apart. Because if they get 2, you're done.
The only good thing about heal triggers is that you get counter charges. If you heal, you counter charge. That's the only thing. But in this situation, in this deck, doesn't matter. You will kill your opponent off, and your opponent would just didn't understand what just happened there, because your combos are not like a card or 2. They are, let's say, a chain reaction of multiple skills that goes off, that puts a card into your soul, calls it back to the field. Like with some hit abilities, your opponent have to make situations they are put in that they have to make choices. Take the damage, maybe get a trigger, gamble on that, but they still get the hit effect. Oh no, I would guard this attack, and then you put some crits on the other guards, because you do still play 6 crits. So your opponent would not understand how this deck works, especially with this trigger lineup. They see some crits, they think, oh, okay, so I've already seen 3 crits, that would mean you play some heals, then I'm okay. And then you hit another crit on the drive check, and they think, ooh, didn't think about that.
As soon as your opponent sees 1 front trigger appear, 1 crit trigger appear, and 1 draw trigger appear, they'll assume you run Ramo, pretty much. And then when they're counting crits, and suddenly there's more of them, or they're counting fronts, and suddenly there's more of them, that's more advantageous than a heal in this deck.
Especially if you see one side to the story. If you see like a lot of front triggers in the early game, they think, oh, they don't run crits. Because you have to have some space for the heals. I mean, who would not play heals?
Exactly. And I think it's because I'm newer to Vanguard maybe than some of my, let's say, colleagues. I'm not that attached to heal triggers. I see the use of them for G-Guards, but without them, they're less important. Now, don't get me wrong, I run them in Dimensional Police, for example, and I understand why you would run them in other decks, but in the aggressive decks, defense does not matter that much. I'd like to play my Exo clans all out.
Yep, I understand.
Of course, if you don't feel comfortable, I can understand that. You cut out 2 of these and you add 4 heals. You can do that if you feel uncomfortable without heals.
Yeah. Also, what you could do is play the 6 fronts. That does work, or 5 fronts.
Like, you can also just play like this. Yeah. Front triggers, I feel, are more important for this deck than crits, basically. But
crits are the surprise in here. Because your rare guys, again, they don't restand. They go in and out of the soul. But sometimes, let's say, if you really want to play heals, then I would say take 1 front out, and then 3, and then play the 4 heals, and keep 3 in here. Because 3 is an odd number. 2, you don't see them much. 1 is you're gambling as much as your opponent is. But with 3, your opponent will get a bit confused. They see some crits, they see some fronts, as they see some heals, maybe not, and they will get a little bit confused.
Yeah.
You don't, of course, you don't want to cut the draw out.
No,
you could take 1 draw out and take these 2 out to put 1 extra draw grade 1 PG, but nah.
You could play the mind game. You could.
Yeah. In this deck, you do get a lot of. Let's say the core is pretty much 4. So 8.
This row here is your core.
Yeah. You also need this. This is good.
This is your backup core. This is your real core. This is the secondary, and this is all flavoring. It's laid down perfectly.
Yep.
This is flavoring.
This
well,
is support.
no, wait. This is
support.
This is important.
You don't need that. You could still have a trigger.
But this is your core. This is your secondary lineup, and
support.
This is support flavor.
Yeah, it's pretty much support because this support the soul. This all support the soul. This is an extra check card in here. That's okay to have.
Your combo.
And this just help out with the secondary lineup right here. Of course, we don't talk about him. And when it comes to the trigger lineup, then I would say 4 on 5 or 4 on 6 is your core, and the others you could play whatever you want.
Yep, basically.
Alright, that's actually it. I hope that you guys enjoyed the new way that we do our deck profiles. It's more, let's say it's easier for you and for us to follow and explain some of the cards. If you want us to zoom in and explain what every card does exactly and how it works in the combos, we could do that as well. Tell us in the comment section below. And also, we get a lot of personal messages, PMs. I myself get a lot of them on my Facebook. People asking me like, how you deal with this matchup, how you deal with that matchup. You could ask us those because we play a lot of matches and we could help you out. And at the same time, we like hearing the feedback from you guys because that also does help us out to become better players and also to make videos that you enjoy more. So, thanks for watching, guys. Till next time.
See you next time.